This is Budapest, the city everyone thinks of when they think of Hungary. And yeah, it's amazing. But here's the thing, most visitors stop here and miss the rest of the country. Today we're taking you beyond the iconic streets and landmarks of Budapest to show you a side of Hungary you probably didn't know existed.
What if I told you that beyond the capital you will find medieval towns, picturesque small villages and vineyard-covered hills? There are beautiful resort lakeside towns, thermal spas, royal and medieval castles, and monasteries that are older than some countries. In this video we will show you why Hungary is way more than just Budapest, and we hope it will inspire you to explore it yourself.
Now, of course, we have to start here in Budapest. This is the Hungary you've seen on postcards. The grandeur of the Parliament building. The Fisherman's Bastion. The St. Stephen's Basilica. And Buda Castle is watching over it all. And if you're visiting during St. Stephen's Day celebration, which takes place every year on the 20th of August, you will see Budapest at its absolute best. It's no wonder that most visitors stay here. Now, Budapest is amazing, no questions, but that's not the end of the story, it's just the beginning. So let's step outside of the capital city and discover what this beautiful country has to offer.
It is time to leave Budapest behind and start exploring. Leaving Budapest, the Danube curves north in a dramatic sweep that creates one of Hungary's most scenic regions, the Danube Bend. Together, Szentendre, Visegrád and Esztergom form a trio of experiences that showcase that region at its best. Art, history and spirituality all within a short journey from the capital. And it all begins with the charming streets of Szentendre, a small town that feels like a world away from Budapest. You can reach it in about 40 minutes by train, but the best way to get there is by taking the slow Mahart boat. The ride takes around an hour and a half, and it's not just transportation, it's an experience in itself. Known as Hungary's artist's town, Szentendre is a kind of a town that invites you to slow down. It doesn't take long to see why artists flocked here in the 20th century. The town itself feels like a canvas. Over the centuries, Hungarians, Serbs and Greeks have all left their mark on the town, giving Szentendre a character that feels a little different from anywhere else in Hungary. And while its streets are charming enough on their own, the real treasures are found in its landmarks and museums. The Belgrade Cathedral is one of the strongest reminders of the Serbian community that settled here during the Ottoman invasions. Inside, its richly decorated iconostasis is a masterpiece of Orthodox art, offering a glimpse into centuries of faith and resilience. Not far away, perched on the hill above the main square, stands the Church of St. John the Baptist. Dating back to the 13th century, it is the oldest church in town. And from the churchyard, you get one of the best views over Szentendre's rooftops. The town is also home to a remarkable collection of museums. The Margit Kovács Ceramic Museum showcases the playful, folk-inspired works of one of Hungary's most beloved ceramic artists. The Vajda Museum highlights the experimental paintings of Lajos Vajda, whose avant-garde style shaped the local art scene. While the Ferenczy Museum Center's art mill, housed in the former Riverside Mill, hosts contemporary exhibitions in an industrial yet striking setting. Together, these places show why Szentendre remains a haven for creativity. But Szentendre isn't just about art and history, it's also a town that loves to celebrate food and wine. The most popular events usually take place in late summer and autumn, coinciding with the grape harvest season. It's a chance to sample Hungary's famous Tokaj wines, as well as smaller boutique labels that rarely leave the country. What we've shown here is just a taste of Szentendre. From art to history to the great outdoors, Szentendre is more than a quick stop on the Danube Bend. It's a place worth lingering, discovering it layer by layer.
But Szentendre is just the beginning. Just a little bit further up the river, guarding one of the most dramatic bends of the Danube, Visegrád is a town that blends history and landscape in a spectacular fashion. Rising steeply above the river, its citadel and royal palace once stood at the very center of Hungary's medieval story, hosting kings, guarding the Holy Crown and shaping the destiny of a kingdom. It's a place where legends feel alive and where every path takes you deeper into Hungary's past. Now, while we're heading up, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the citadel of Visegrád, also called the Upper Castle. It is one of Hungary's most iconic historic sites. Perched 328 meters above the Danube on a steep hill, it has been watching over the river and the surrounding lands for centuries. Built in the 13th century after the Mongol invasion, the fortress became a powerful royal seat and a symbol of Hungary's strength. In the 14th century, under King Charles Robert of Anjou dynasty, Visegrád rose to prominence as the capital of Hungary, and the king brought here for safekeeping the most important symbol of the kingdom, the Holy Crown. In 1335, he hosted Czech King John and Polish King Casimir, where they signed an economic and political alliance of Visegrád states, consisting of Poland, Czechia, Slovakia and Hungary. Wow, just look at that view. It's incredible. It is really something special, especially with clouds casting shadows onto the valley. It's beautiful. And you can totally see how this place was of such a strategic importance, because scaling this mountain to attack this castle would have been very difficult. During the Middle Ages, the citadel served as one of the main residences of Hungarian kings. It became a center for important events, coronations, and the defense of the kingdom. In 1440, Queen Elisabeth of Luxembourg even sought refuge here with her infant son, the future king Ladislaus V. But that very same year, one of the castle's most daring stories unfolded when the widowed queen's chambermaid famously stole the Holy Crown. Filing through the padlocks of the treasure chamber, she smuggled the crown out of the castle, sewed into a red velvet pillow, so that the queen's newborn child could be crowned with it. Today, the citadel is a place where history and legend live side by side. Walking up to its terraces, you're rewarded with an unforgettable view of the Danube Bend, a sight that makes the climb more than worth it. The citadel is more than just a ruin. It's a journey back into medieval Hungary, where power, intrigue and breathtaking scenery come together in an unforgettable experience. Now that we explored the upper castle, we're heading down to take a look at the lower castle, which is the Solomon Tower. Okay. So it will take us about 35 minutes, but with that pace, it might take longer. Standing at the foot of the castle hill, the Solomon Tower is one of the best preserved medieval buildings in Visegrád. Built in the 13th century, it once formed part of the town's lower castle, serving both as a defensive stronghold and a royal residence. Its thick walls, arched windows and a commanding presence made it a key part of Hungary's fortifications along the Danube. Despite its name, the tower has no connection to King Solomon of Hungary. The name was given later, but has stuck ever since. Throughout its long history, the tower has witnessed battles, sieges, and the lives of nobles who once lived within its walls. Now, unfortunately, we can't go inside the tower and check it out, but our next destination, which is the Royal Palace, is open and we will spend some time exploring it. The Royal Palace of Visegrád is one of the most beautiful and important buildings from medieval Hungary. It was first completed in the early 15th century under King Sigismund of Luxembourg, and for centuries it was the heart of royal life. Later in the same century, King Matthias Corvinus rebuilt it and expanded it, turning it into one of the grandest residences in Central Europe. His marriage to Beatrice of Naples brought Italian artists, stonemasons and gardeners to Hungary, filling the palace with Renaissance style and beauty. Walking through the palace today, you can imagine what the life would have been like in its golden age. This courtyard once held a famous fountain where wine would flow during celebrations.
The gardens were planted with fragrant roses, herbs and fruit trees, creating an atmosphere of peace and harmony. These gardens, along with decorated halls, gave the palace a truly Mediterranean feeling in the heart of Hungary. Although much of the palace fell into ruin after the Ottoman Wars, it has been carefully reconstructed. Visitors today can explore its rooms, courtyards and gardens and step back into a time when Visegrád was at the very center of Hungarian history.
Visegrád is more than just a historic castle town. It's a place where the story of Hungary unfolds in layers.
Our journey along the Danube Bend ends in Esztergom, a city that stands as a spiritual heart of Hungary. Once the country's capital and the birthplace of its first king, Saint Stephen, it was here in the year 1000 that King Stephen, the country's first Christian ruler, was crowned. It's a city that feels both grand and peaceful, with every corner echoing stories from Hungary's beginnings. Walking through the town today, you will find a mix of Baroque, neoclassical and Romantic architecture. It's this blend of grand monuments and smaller, tucked-away corners that makes Esztergom feel both monumental and approachable, a town where every stone seems to whisper a piece of Hungary's story. Walking through Esztergom, you immediately sense its importance. The old streets are lined with colorful houses, charming cafes, and views that open up toward the river and the grand basilica above. Though small in size, the town has a regal vibe shaped by centuries of kings, bishops, and pilgrims who once filled its cobbled lanes. The Széchenyi Square is at the heart of local life. Surrounded by elegant Baroque and neoclassical buildings, it's where locals gather, markets set up, and travelers rest before climbing towards the basilica. It's a perfect place to pause, take in the view, and feel the city's pulse. Not far from the square, a long staircase, the Saint István lépcső, winds its way up and leads from the busy town below to the heights of St. Thomas Hill. As you climb, the view slowly widens, revealing the Danube and the rooftops of Esztergom. At the top of St. Thomas Hill, you will find one of the best views of Esztergom. From here, the basilica dominates the skyline, standing proudly over the river that separates Hungary and Slovakia. Towering above the Danube, the Esztergom Basilica is not only the largest church in Hungary, but also one of the largest in Europe, dominating the skyline with its colossal dome, rising nearly 100 meters high. Built in the early 19th century on the site of earlier churches, the basilica is both a masterpiece of classicism and a symbol of Hungary's resilience. Its scale is breathtaking, vast columns, ornate chapels, and one of the world's largest altarpieces, painted on a single canvas by Michelangelo Grigoletti. The treasury holds priceless relics of the Catholic Church in Hungary, including medieval vestments and goldsmith works. From the dome's viewing platform, visitors are rewarded with sweeping vistas over the Danube, the town below, and across the river into Slovakia. Whether you come for its history, its architecture, or its sheer presence, the basilica remains one of Hungary's most awe-inspiring landmarks. Down below, the crypt holds the tomb of Esztergom's archbishops and cardinals. These stone corridors seem to whisper centuries of prayers. It's a place that connects deeply to Hungary's soul, where history and faith are literally carved in stone. Beside the basilica, the castle of Esztergom was once the royal seat of Hungary's first kings. This fortress dates back to the 10th century, when Prince Géza established his court here, and it was later expanded into a powerful medieval stronghold. While much of it was damaged during the Ottoman Wars, the castle remains a fascinating place to explore. Today the complex houses a museum showcasing medieval artifacts, frescoes, and treasures uncovered during excavations. Highlights include the 12th century fresco fragments in the palace chapel, rare survival of Romanesque art in Hungary. Walking through its courtyards and restored halls, you get a sense of what life might have been like when Esztergom was Hungary's beating heart of politics and culture. But perhaps the most striking thing about the castle is its position. Perched high above the Danube, it offers commanding views not only of the basilica but also of the surrounding landscape. From here, you can look across the Maria Valeria Bridge, which spans the river connecting Hungary with Slovakia, symbolizing centuries of shared history. Esztergom is often called the cradle of Hungary, and statue of the coronation of Saint Stephen captures the defining moment of Hungarian statehood. Erected in 2001 to mark the 1000th anniversary of Stephen's coronation, the sculpture depicts the king receiving his crown and blessing, symbolizing Hungary's birth as a Christian kingdom. Esztergom is not just the end of the Danube Bend, it feels like the beginning of Hungary itself. With its grand basilica, medieval castle, and streets that echo centuries of history, the town feels like an open-air museum of the nation's past, and an absolute must-visit destination for anyone exploring Hungary.
Another beautiful place we would like to show you is Gödöllő. Located just 30 kilometers northeast of Budapest, it is one of Hungary's most charming towns. Despite its proximity to the capital, Gödöllő offers a very different experience. Quieter streets, leafy parks, and a deep connection to Hungary's past make it a perfect destination for travelers seeking more than just usual highlights of Budapest. First mentioned in 1349 in a deed of donation by Louis I, it appears in the early documents under slightly different names, but in 1868 it was officially named Gödöllő. During the Turkish occupation of Hungary, the settlement was completely destroyed, but later rebuilt and repopulated. The town has a rich and very interesting history, too deep to cover in this video, but I highly encourage visitors to explore it. The town's fame is closely related to Gödöllő Royal Palace, the crown jewel of the community. Construction of the palace began in 1740s under Count Antal Graszalkovich I, a prominent nobleman whose influence extended across Habsburg monarchy. Today, the palace is beautifully restored and open to visitors, offering a glimpse into the grandeur of the Habsburg era and the private world of one of Europe's most romantic figures.
Walking through the palace today, visitors can explore carefully restored rooms that recreate the atmosphere of Sisi's era. Exhibitions highlight both the Grashalkovich legacy and the Habsburg period, including personal memorabilia of Empress Elizabeth that reveal her lasting popularity. The ceremonial hall, ornate with frescoes and stucco work, sets the tone of grandeur, while the royal apartments give a more intimate look into daily life at court. Equally enchanting are the palace gardens, designed in a mix of French and English styles. Strolling through the carefully landscaped grounds with tree-lined avenues, flower beds and shaded corners, it is easy to imagine Sisi herself walking here. Seasonal festivals, concerts and cultural programs often animate the estate, bringing history alive in a vibrant way.
The Royal Palace of Gödöllő is a must-visit destination for anyone interested in history, beautiful architecture, and want to have a glimpse into the royal past of Hungary. It is more than just a building. It is a living monument of intertwined histories of Hungary, Austria, and Europe's most iconic empress. Perched on the gentle hills of western Hungary, Veszprém is one of the country's oldest cities and one of the most important historic and cultural centers. Often called the City of Queens because Hungarian queens were traditionally crowned here, it combines over 1,000 years of history with a creative and youthful energy. Veszprém's story stretches back to the foundation of Hungarian state, and it played an important role as a royal and ecclesiastical center. Today, it is just as well known for its cultural vibrancy, having been named the European Capital of Culture in 2023. And at the heart of the city is the Old Town Square, and this is where we begin exploring the city. Just a short stroll from the square is our first point of interest, the fire tower, or Tűztorony. Standing at 48 meters tall, it has watched over the city for centuries, and it is one of the most recognizable landmarks of Veszprém. The tower's history dates back to the 13th century, when it was part of the city's fortification. Over time, it gained its current Baroque appearance after reconstruction in the 19th century. Traditionally, the fire tower served as a lookout post. Guard stationed here kept watch for the signs of fire and enemy attacks, giving the structure its name and vital purpose. So the castle district has been under restoration for almost 2 years now. So until 5 p.m. it's kind of off limits, so we're gonna have to return later and take a look inside. Just next to the castle hill, there is another hill called the Benedict Hill, which also offers very nice views on the city. Yeah, it's a really nice location. You got like a almost 360-degree view on the city. Beautiful. Here it is. We're at the edge of the Benedict Hill. Now, while we are waiting for the castle hill to open up at 5 p.m., we came to check out the cloisters and the gardens. So let's walk around and see what we can find here. Yeah, it's very peaceful here. They even have a lookout tower here. So we're gonna go up and take a look at the views. Here we are at the top. Oh yeah, well, lovely view actually. You can see the Castle Hill district from here. Yeah, you can see the town. It's actually a lot higher than I expected. Well, we found another beautiful viewpoint overlooking the town and the Castle Hill. It's just right there. Now, actually, this is probably the best viewpoint. Well, the viewpoint was very nice. Yeah, probably it's the best viewpoint in town. Don't take my word for it, it's just our opinion. Marking the entrance to the historic castle district, the Heroes Gate is a striking architectural landmark and a memorial. Built in the 1930s, it was originally designed to commemorate the soldiers from Veszprém who gave their lives during the First World War. Later, it has also become a place of remembrance of the victims of the Second World War and Hungary's fight for freedom in 1956. As you walk through, you are literally passing a symbolic threshold between the modern city and the timeless street of the castle district.
This picturesque elevated district is a treasure trove of medieval streets, Baroque houses and centuries-old churches, all steeped in history and charm.
One of the jewels of Castle Hill, the Archbishop's Palace, embodies centuries of ecclesiastical and cultural power in Veszprém.
Built in the mid-18th century, this grand Baroque residence became the seat of the Archbishops of Veszprém, who have long held a unique role in Hungarian history as spiritual advisors to queens and guardians of religious life in the region. One of the square's highlights is the beautifully decorated statue of the Holy Trinity, a Baroque monument that reminds us of Veszprém's deep historical and religious roots. Standing proudly at the heart of the Castle Hill, St. Michael's Cathedral is the spiritual and historical centerpiece of Veszprém and one of the oldest cathedrals in Hungary, with origins dating back to the reign of King Stephen in the early 11th century. Inside, you will find a serene atmospheric interior with soaring arches, beautiful stained glass windows, and intricately decorated chapels.
And this is it. This is the end of the road, marked by a beautiful statue of King Stephen I and his wife Gisela. As you wander these lanes, you are literally walking in the footsteps of kings, queens, and bishops that once shaped Hungary's destiny from this very hill. Veszprém is another reminder that Hungary has so much to offer beyond Budapest. It may be small, but it leaves a lasting impression. It shows that the true spirit of Hungary lies not only in the capital city, but in the stories preserved in smaller cities like Veszprém. For our next destination, we went a little bit further out.
Today we're taking you to the city of Eger, located approximately 1.5 hours drive northeast of Budapest. Known for its Baroque architecture, storied past, and world-famous wines, Eger is a must-visit destination for anyone exploring Hungary beyond the capital city. Set in the heart of the city, the Eger thermal bath is a true oasis of relaxation and one of the most beloved town baths in Hungary.
Alright, it is time to explore the Eger thermal pools. Oh my god, look how many pools there are here. So we're just gonna follow the crowds, and the crowds are walking that way. Yeah, you can smell the sulfur.
Spread across 5 hectares, the complex features 13 different pools, large parkland, and a vibrant atmosphere that reflects the spirit of the city itself, elegant, historic and full of life.
Yeah, this is the Turkish bath. Inside is the Turkish bath, and outside there are more pools here. So this pool was built in 1610. It's very old. But yeah, there's loads. Look. This is a medicinal pool. Okay, so this is the radioactive pool. Yeah, so this is the pool number 1. It's the famous pebbly pool, and the radon gas bubbles up from the floor, enriching the water, and this is supposed to be really good for you. And it's right next to another pool that looks a little bit more like a traditional swimming pool. Oh wow!
The bath is more than just a place to swim. It's a hub of wellness, social life and history. Its direct access to the 400-year-old Turkish bath makes it easy to combine modern leisure with authentic Ottoman spa experience.
Yeah, this place is lovely. It's a bit of a shame. It's a little bit cool outside. It's almost end of September, so it is a little bit chilly. So we're probably going to go back to our hotel because we essentially have the same water in our spa as this one. So same health benefits, but from the comfort of a hotel spa.
Next day, it was time to get out there and start exploring the city.
No visit to Eger is complete without experiencing its legendary wines.
And the best place to do that is Szépasszony Valley, or the Valley of the Beautiful Woman.
Located just a short walk or ride from the city center, this green and atmospheric hollow is lined with nearly 200 wine cellars carved into volcanic rock. Here, locals and visitors gather to taste region specialities, enjoy hearty snacks, and soak up the spirit that has defined Eger's wine culture for centuries. The valley is home to Hungary's most famous blend of red, Egri Bikaver, also known as the Blood of the Bull, whose legend dates back to 1552, Siege of Eger. Outnumbered 30-1, the defenders supposedly drank the fiery red wine, which terrified the Ottoman army into believing that the Hungarians had been fortified by the blood of bulls. Alongside this robust red, you will also find Egri Csillag, a crisp and aromatic wine named after the lanterns of vineyard watchmen that once dotted the hill like stars. Together, these wines represent the shining emblems of Eger's viticulture.
Beyond these icons, the valley offers an array of blends and boutique labels unique to the region. You will be spoiled for choice as there are many cellars to choose from, each offering its own unique atmosphere and selection of wines. Many cellars also serve traditional Hungarian dishes, from sausages and langos to chimney cakes, making it as much a culinary adventure as a wine tasting. In summer, live concerts and open-air events turn the valley into a festival ground, while in the quieter seasons, the stone cellars offer an intimate atmosphere for conversations and discovery.
Wine has always been at the heart of Eger's identity, from the Italian and Vanland settlers who established viticulture here in the 1200s to today's award-winning vintners. The tradition continues to thrive, promising not just the taste of Hungary, but the taste of history itself. Having fortified myself with Egri Bikaver, It is now time to head to the city center and start exploring. One of the most imposing landmarks of the city and the second largest church of Hungary is Eger Basilica. Its monumental neoclassical facade, flanked with Corinthian columns and crowned with statues of saints and virtues, dominates the city skyline. It does look striking from the outside. Now, let's see what's inside.
The basilica's vast interior glows with color and artistry. Frescoes sweep across the ceiling, the details worth hours of study. Painted by István Tokach in 1950, the dome depicts the scenes of the apocalypse. The side chapels honor Saint Michael and the Virgin Mary, while the famed Weeping Mary Chapel is among the most richly ornated in Hungary. Its columns, statues and frescoes tell a story of faith and resilience, of artistry and patience, of a community that continues to thrive beneath its soaring dome.
Standing proudly opposite Basilica, the Lyceum is one of Eger's most magnificent Baroque landmarks. Built in the late 18th century as a seminary and a center of learning, it remains today not only an architectural jewel, but a custodian of Hungary's greatest cultural treasures.
One of the main attractions of the Lyceum is the Archdiocesan Library, established by Bishop Károly Esterházy in 1793. From the very beginning, this was no private collection. It was meant to be a public library, a truly rare concept in Europe at the time. Among its vast collection are treasures of truly world significance. The oldest document dates back to 1048, a handwritten codex containing papal decrees from Pope Leo IX. A single autograph letter by Mozart, the only one in Hungary, rests in its safes, as does a rare Dante codex, one of only 3 in existence worldwide.
The Lyceum reminds us that Eger was not only a city of soldiers and saints, but also of scholars and seekers.
Reconstructed in 2014, the Dobo Square is a lively centerpiece of the city. At its center stands the striking Dobo monument, created by sculptor Alajos Stróbl and inaugurated in 1907. The dramatic statue commemorates Captain István Dobo, the heroic defender of Eger Castle in 1552, who led a vastly outnumbered Hungarian force to victory against the Ottoman army. Rising over Dobo Square, the Church of Saint Anthony of Padua is widely regarded as one of the most beautiful Baroque churches in Europe. Built in 1771 to the designs of Viennese architect Kilian Ignaz Dientzenhofer, the church is a masterpiece of elegance and grandeur, with a facade unlike any other in Hungary. Step inside and you will find an interior lavishly decorated between 1771 and 1792 by some of the era's most talented artists. The main altar painting depicts Saint Anthony's vision of the Virgin Mary holding the Christ child, while the ceiling frescoes depict his life vividly above you. The church is still very much alive as a place of worship today, with Mass celebrated daily at 5 p.m. and on Sundays at 12 p.m.
Have their own version of the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and these plaques are dedicated to people who contributed to the development and improvement of the city of Eger. And this person right here is probably Judith's favorite, because this is the master baker, and we all know how much Judith likes her pastries. Well, first impressions of Eger? Really nice. It's a nice town.
Lovely, really good vibes, colorful buildings, beautiful center, right?
Yeah.
Dobo István Square.
Yeah, a lot of history and beautiful architecture here.
Next, we're taking a look at one of Hungary's most fascinating castles.
Perched high above the city, the Eger castle is one of Hungary's most legendary fortresses and the setting of a battle that shaped European history. Built in the 13th century after the Tatar invasions, it became famous in 1552 when Captain István Dobó and his defenders, outnumbered up to 30 to 1, repelled the Ottoman army. For his bravery, Dobó and his men were later called Hercules of Christianity. The defense of the castle was ingenious. To deny the Ottomans cover, Dobó had the surrounding settlement burned down and the townspeople moved into the castle. They stockpiled half a year's worth of supplies, turned the cathedral spire into a cannon platform and armed themselves with arquebuses, matchlocks and even the bizarre but effective invention called a volley gun, 28 barrels fixed on a wooden platform, something like dreamt up by Leonardo da Vinci himself. As the siege dragged on, the defenders fought with whatever they had left, pouring hot tar onto the attackers, rolling stones off the walls, and even women taking up arms to fight alongside the men. The Ottomans brought 140 cannons to the battle, while the defenders had only 28. But winter, hunger, plague, and unbreakable Hungarian resolve forced the Sultan's army to retreat. And these are the remains of the cathedral. And as I mentioned before, the spire of this cathedral was turned into a cannon platform.
Inside the Gothic Bishop's Palace, once Dobó's headquarters, you will find exhibitions on fortress's life alongside the Heroes' Hall, where a tomb, though empty, pays a tribute to Dobó himself.
Lies a labyrinth of tunnels where soldiers once roamed unseen, countering Ottoman mining operations and later inspiring a classic Hungarian novel, The Eclipse of the Crescent Moon. Today these passages feel like a time machine, cool, dark and echoing with struggles of 1552. Visiting Eger Castle isn't just about walking through old walls, it's about stepping into a story of courage and survival that has become a cornerstone of Hungarian identity. And after you've finished exploring the castle, you can come here in this beautiful Turkish tent and drink some Turkish tea, which is included with your ticket. Well, the castle was very nice, and now we have one more very interesting landmark to explore, which is the minaret. Rising 40 meters above the town, the Eger minaret is the northernmost surviving Ottoman minaret in Europe and the best preserved in Hungary. Built around 1596 during the Turkish occupation, it once adjoined a mosque long since demolished, leaving a slender tower as a striking reminder of that era. The tower's survival is the stuff of legends. When the Turks were driven out, locals sought to demolish it as a symbolic end to foreign rule. According to the story, 400 oxen were harnessed to pull it down, but the tower did not budge. It stood firm then and it still stands today, crowned with a unique symbol, a Christian cross emerging from the original crescent moon, embodying the layered history of the city.
A narrow spiral staircase winds its way to the top, where a balcony encircles the tower at 26 meters. Climbing is no small feat, steep, tight, and not for the faint of heart, but the reward is a breathtaking panorama over the rooftops of Eger, the Basilica, and the distant Bükk Hills.
So I just climbed the minaret and it's about 98 steps, and if you're claustrophobic, this is not for you. It is very tight, but the views from up there are pretty good.
Right next to the minaret you will find another very interesting landmark, the Kopczyk Marcypania Bell Foundry House. It features more than 150 marzipan artworks ranging from miniature figures to life-size masterpieces of Lajos Kopczyk, a world-renowned confectioner and a holder of multiple Guinness World Records.
We already visited the Lyceum yesterday, but we came back to check out the observatory and the Science Experience Center.
The Astronomical Museum displays antique telescopes, celestial globes, and historical instruments that showcase the development of astronomy in the region. Although we couldn't film inside, the museum's highlight is the Camera Obscura, an ingenious optical device that projects a live panoramic view of Eger onto a white table in a darkened room. Dating back more than 200 years, it is the oldest functioning device of its kind in the world.
If you are planning to visit the observatory, just be prepared. There are no lifts. And here we are, on top of the observatory. It's beautiful. Again, you got 360 panoramic view of the city. And if you're not in the mood to climb the minaret, you should come here. It's definitely easier to get up here, and there's a lot more space. There's a beautiful view on the castle. You see all the churches, the red rooftops of the city of Eger, all visible from up here, including the hills in the distance. Beautiful. And we've been extremely lucky with the weather. Beautiful clear skies. Perfect day to explore the city and enjoy the beautiful view. As you can see, Eger is a city where history, culture and natural beauty meet in a remarkably compact setting. With its Baroque architecture, storied past and world-famous wines, it has long been a favorite destination for travelers seeking a blend of heritage and relaxation. Beyond its monuments, wines and baths, Eger has a warmth that comes from its intimate streets and friendly locals. It's a place where every corner tells a story, and for those seeking to discover Hungary beyond Budapest, it offers a perfect introduction, a city rich in heritage, yet full of vitality. Good morning and welcome to
Tatabánya,
the capital city of Esztergom County, a city that's been shaped by both its natural beauty and industrial heritage. Now you're probably wondering, we're already out of breath. Where are we going? Well, you're just gonna have to wait and see, because it's something very special. And all I'm gonna show you now is this. Lots of stairs going up, and yeah, we've got a bit of a way to go. So let's not waste any time and go.
Nestled between the Vertes and Gerice mountains, it serves as a gateway between Budapest and Western Hungary, with excellent transport links that make it an easy stop for travelers heading to Győr, Vienna or Bratislava. While relatively young as a city, formed in 1947 from the unification of 4 villages, Tatabánya has deep historical roots and a fascinating character that reflects Hungary's journey through modern times.
GPS is already playing up, but the path is marked by these signs. So we know we're on the right path. I'm already boiling. Well, if you're feeling a bit more adventurous, you can actually climb to the place we're going, but we're not going to do that. we're gonna take an easy road. Well, we made it to the top. And this is what we came up here to see. The Turul Monument. Perched dramatically on top of the cliff overlooking the city, it represents far more than just impressive work of art. It embodies one of the most powerful symbols in Hungarian mythology and national identity. Turul is a mythical bird of prey, and it's said that it has guided the ancestors of the Hungarians during their migration to the Carpathian Basin. Legends describe it as a messenger of the divine, a creature that connects heaven and earth, and a protector of the nation. Alright, so we had a look at the Turul monument here in Tatabánya, and with its 15-meter wingspan, it is the largest representation of Turul in the world. Pretty impressive, but this is not all we came here to see. There are a few more things. So let's go and check them out. And if you don't want to come to Tatabánya to see the Turul monument here, you can see it in Budapest in the Buda Castle district. It's not as big, but it'll paint the picture. So this area also has hiking and cycling trails. It's quite pleasant.
It's lovely. You feel the fresh air, right? Such a difference.
Wow, it's a lovely view from up here. You can see so far out. The only downside is this very busy highway here, which takes you, by the way, to Budapest. Other than that, it's very beautiful. Well, this is another place we really wanted to take a look at. The Selim Cave is one of Hungary's most impressive natural and historical sites. Formed over millennia through geological processes, the cave is not only an impressive natural formation, but also a place steeped in legends and archaeology.
With its vast entrance chamber and dramatic openings to the sky, it has long inspired stories. Some say it was once a refuge for locals during invasions, while others link it to darker tales of battles and loss. Archaeological excavations have uncovered tools, pottery, and human remains, proving that the cave was inhabited by prehistoric communities thousands of years ago. Its large interior, capable of sheltering many people, explains why it became a refuge throughout history. Today, visitors are drawn to Selim Cave for both its history and its breathtaking views. Standing at the cave's opening, one can gaze out across Tatabánya and the surrounding landscapes.
Wow, well, the cave was very impressive. Very impressive. I think it's definitely worth a visit. So, if you are coming to Tatabánya, it's all worth a visit because it's all nearby. You can see the Turul monument, they come down here to the cave, and there is also a lookout point not far from here. So, quite convenient. Everything is nearby. Now, we're gonna leave the lookout for you to discover because we are heading back down. We're catching a train and we are going to our next destination, which is Tata. Welcome to Tata. Well, Tata is a charming small town located in northwestern Hungary that combines natural beauty, history, and a relaxed atmosphere of a small town. Located about an hour's drive from Budapest, it sits between Vertes and Gerice mountains, and it is famous for its lakes, springs, and green spaces. For centuries, Tata has been a favorite retreat for nobility, artists, and travelers seeking peace away from the bustle of larger cities. In the heart of the city lies one of Hungary's oldest artificial lakes, Öreg-tó, or the Old Lake. Created in the Middle Ages for fishing and mill operations, today it is the town's most beloved landmark, a place where history, community, and nature come together. Just a short stroll away from the town is the English Garden. So we came to check it out, and this English Garden is Hungary's very first landscape-style garden, created in the late 18th century by the Esterházy family.
Inspired by the romantic English park tradition, it was designed as a place of leisure, blending natural beauty with art and history. Winding paths lead visitors past ancient trees, tranquil ponds, and architectural curiosities that add a touch of mystery to the landscape.
Oh, first impressions? Very nice. It's a little bit rustic, not overly maintained, and that's the beauty of it. And there is another quite big lake here.
Unlike formal Baroque gardens, the English garden embraces harmony and freedom. Its design creates ever-changing perspectives with hidden corners, shaded groves, and open clearings revealing new sights at every turn. Today, the garden is a favorite retreat for both locals and travelers, offering a serene escape just steps from Tata's old lake and the castle. It remains not only a historic treasure, but also a living example of timeless landscape artistry.
This place is very nice. Pleasantly surprised. I didn't expect this English garden to be so relaxing. Definitely exceeded my expectations. It is so calm here, and yeah, not many people around. So if you're looking for a quiet escape, I think it's a perfect place. Yeah, the park is really nice. Reminds me a little bit of St. James's Park in the city of London, minus all the tourists and large crowds. It's very quiet and calm here. Hardly anybody around. It's a very nice place, and if you're visiting Tata, you should definitely pay a visit.
After exploring the English garden, we came back to the old lake to take a closer look at the main attraction, the Tata Castle. Its location, right at the water's edge, gives it a unique and romantic character, often reflected in calm ripples of the lake, making it a favorite subject for painters, photographers, and visitors alike.
Standing proudly on the banks of the old lake, the Tata Castle is the town's centerpiece and one of Hungary's most picturesque historic landmarks. Built in the 14th century, the castle originally served as a royal residence and a strategic fortress guarding important trade routes. And as you can see, archaeology is still taking place here today. During the Renaissance, the castle flourished under the king Matthias, who transformed it into a more elegant residence, blending defensive architecture with artistic refinement. Later, the powerful Esterházy family took ownership, leaving their mark on its architecture and ensuring its continued prominence.
Today, Tata Castle houses a museum that brings its layered history to life, displaying archaeological finds, artworks, and exhibits on local history. Beyond the interiors, the castle's surroundings are equally enchanting. Walkways along the lake invite peaceful strolls, while seasonal festivals and cultural events often use the castle as their backdrop.
Wow, just look at these walls. My God, they are really tall. This whole place has really nice atmosphere. People kayaking on the lake, workers tending to the castle. Pleasantly surprised. I didn't expect actually Tata to be that nice.
Yes, it's a nice surprise. I would describe it as a nice mix of old and new.
Guys, just take a look at this tree. It is absolutely giant. Well, the Eszterházy castle or mansion looks very grand. Look at this. And I heard they also make their own beer here. Apparently it's some kind of Hungary's first castle beer. I think I have to try that. Okay, well, we didn't go inside the Eszterházy castle or mansion, but I've got Hungary's first castle beer. So they got two. They've got a lager and they've got an IPA. Of course, I went for IPA and I can't wait to try it. It's nice and cold, so we're gonna find a nice place to sit down overlooking the lake and I'll enjoy the Hungary's first castle beer. Yes, there it is. Perfect place to sit down, enjoy the view, and have a cold beer. Oh yeah. Oh, very nice smell. Citrusy, hoppy, just how I like it. Yes, very good. I like a good IPA. And this one is unlike anything I tried before. It's quite complex, hoppy, not too bitter. Quite refreshing and cool. That's a combination I like. Now, Tata is one of those places that deserves a couple of days. And if you come into Tata, I highly recommend for you to stay at least overnight, but probably you need 2 nights here, and I'll explain why. Tata is a perfect place for you to make a stopover on the way to Western Hungary. You stop over here, you take a day trip to Tatabánya and explore the Turul monument and the cave. But Tata itself has a lot to offer. You can easily spend half a day walking around the lake, go explore Tata Castle, go to the English gardens. But outside of Tata, there's a lot more. There are nature trails, biking trails. So if you are thinking about staying in Tata for a day or 2 days or maybe even 3, who knows, we've got a perfect place for you to make a stopover. Welcome to Malomon-Kacsa. Now, we stayed in a few places while traveling in Hungary, but not many places really impressed us as this hotel. And as soon as you walk in, you can sense their meticulous attention to details. Everything is spot on. The room is lovely. We're staying in the Panorama Superior room, and yeah, it is perfect. It has everything you need. And their attention to detail is felt everywhere. From how the bathroom is stocked with nice shampoos and shower gels, even the body lotions and shower caps and slippers, to the little details like the logos on their towels and that little gift box they left on the bed with homemade shortbread cookies that they actually make here. Everything is perfect. We just met the ops director, who kindly took us around the premises and showed us around and told us everything about this place, its rich history and their unique philosophy behind how they do things here. And it's really impressive. And we highly encourage you to visit their website and learn more about this place and pay a visit and discover it for yourself. Our next destination may not have grand royal palaces, but it makes up for it with its riverside charm and Baroque old town filled with churches, elegant squares, and period architecture. Situated at the confluence of three rivers, Danube, Archabbey, and Rapte, Győr has always been a city shaped by water. Its bridges, quays, and river banks make it one of the most picturesque cities in Hungary. Because of its strategic position, being situated halfway between Budapest and Vienna, Győr became an important trading post and a resting place for travelers, merchants, and royals traveling between the two great capitals. At the heart of the city, the Széchenyi Square is lined with grand buildings, restaurants, cafes, and an imposing Church of Saint Ignatius, one of the finest examples of Baroque architecture in Hungary.
The city is also home to many beautifully decorated churches, each reflecting a different period of Hungarian history and architectural style. Among them, standing on Chapter Hill nearby, the Basilica of Győr is one of the oldest cathedrals in Hungary and houses stunning Baroque interiors, ornate frescoes, and the revered harem of Saint Ladislaus, a masterpiece of medieval goldsmithing. Together with Dunakapu Square, Széchenyi Square often turns into open-air stage for celebration, music, and local flavors. Throughout the year, the city hosts a variety of food, wine, and beer festivals that fill the old town with wonderful aromas and cheerful crowds. Rows of wooden stalls offer traditional dishes, cheeses, craft beer, and wines from Hungary's best-known wine regions. These festivals are more than just about eating and drinking. They are a reflection of Hungary's warm hospitality and the city's community spirit. Street performers, live music, and folk dances add to the atmosphere, while the illuminated facades of Győr's Baroque buildings create a magical backdrop. Among all of Győr's traditions, none captures the city spirit quite like the Baroque wedding, one of the most unique and theatrical events in Hungary. Held annually on the second weekend of August, this spectacular festival transforms the old town into a living stage where history, romance, and celebration come together in the grand open-air performance. The event recreates a wedding from the Baroque era, complete with costumed nobles, musicians, dancers, and soldiers marching through the streets. The bride and groom, chosen from local couples, take on the roles of 18th century aristocrats, while hundreds of participants, dressed in detailed period attire, follow in procession. The festivities spread across the city squares and the charming streets of the old town. Everywhere you turn, there is a sound of trumpets, laughter, and celebration. It feels like if the entire city has stepped back in time. What makes the Baroque wedding so special is its blend of authentic history and living culture. It celebrates Győr's architectural heritage and its role as one of Hungary's most elegant Baroque cities, while also highlighting the creativity and pride of its people.
But Győr is not only a destination in its own right, it is also a perfect base for exploring the region. From here, it's just a short ride to Pannonhalma, home to one of Hungary's most important historical and spiritual landmarks, the Pannonhalma Archabbey, a place you absolutely cannot miss if you are exploring this region.
Perched on a hill surrounded by vineyards, the Pannonhalma Archabbey is one of Hungary's oldest and most important historical sites. Founded in 996 AD by Benedictine monks, it has stood for over 1,000 years as a center of faith, learning and culture. Today, it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the few active monastic communities still thriving in the country. Walking through the abbey complex feels like stepping back in time. The heart of the site is the Basilica of St. Martin, a serene Romanesque church that has witnessed countless prayers, coronations, and ceremonies. The crypt, the oldest part of the basilica, dates back to 11th century and still carries the weight of centuries of devotion. Another highlight is the monastic library, one of the richest in Hungary, holding over 400,000 volumes, from illuminated medieval manuscripts to rare historical works. It reflects the Benedictine order's dedication to preserving knowledge and education throughout the Middle Ages and beyond. Beyond the walls, the abbey grounds offer a moment of peace. The monks cultivate vineyard and produce wine, continuing a centuries-old tradition that connects spirituality with the land. Visitors can enjoy panoramic views of the surrounding countryside or stop over by Abbey's small cafe and shop for local products. A visit to Pannonhalma Archabbey is more than a lesson in history. It's an experience that combines faith, culture, and nature.
As you can see, spending a few days here feels like peeling back layers of Hungary's past, from the joyful pulse of the squares of Győr to 1,000-year-old tranquility of the Benedictine Archabbey of Pannonhalma. It's a reminder that between Budapest and the western border lies a region full of stories, flavors, and traditions waiting to be discovered.
After following the Danube's winding path, our journey leads us to another treasure, Lake Balaton, often called the Hungarian Sea. It is the largest lake in Central Europe, and more than just a holiday destination. It's a blend of culture, history, and relaxation. The lakeside towns each have their own charm, from elegant promenades to quiet abbeys and stately castles. Balatonfüred is the region's oldest and most famous resort town, known for its tree-lined promenade, historic villas, and lakeside charm. In the 18th and 19th centuries, it became Hungary's first spa town, drawing aristocrats and artists who came to enjoy its healing mineral springs and gentle climate. Even today, it keeps that graceful, old-world charm. A walk along Tagore Promenade is one of the highlights of any visit. Named after the Indian poet Rabindranath Tagore, who once stayed here to recover his health, it's a scenic stretch along the lake filled with cafes and shady trees, and a place of numerous festivals and events that take place throughout the year. One of the highlights of any visit to Balatonfüred is a scenic boat ride on the lake. Watch the sailboats pass by, the blue-green water shimmering in the sunlight, and the Tihany Peninsula rising on the horizon. Crowning the peninsula, the village of Tihany offers some of the most stunning views in Hungary. The village cobblestone streets are lined with lavender shops, whitewashed cottages, and charming cafes, all leading uphill to its most famous landmark, the Benedictine Abbey of Tihany. Founded in 1055 by King Andrew I, the abbey is one of the oldest and most impressive monastic sites in Hungary. The founding chapter preserved here is the earliest known written record of the Hungarian language. Inside, the church glows with golden altars and delicate frescoes, while outside, the panorama stretches endlessly over the lake. From this height, the wind carries both history and peace, and it's easy to see why so many consider Tihany the spiritual heart of Balaton. At the western end of the lake, Keszthely is one of Balaton's most elegant towns. Known as the cultural capital of the region, is a place of museums, music, and grand architecture. Its crowning jewel is the Festetics Castle, a magnificent Baroque palace built in the 18th century by the noble Festetics family. The castle, with its 101 rooms, ornate interiors, and vast park, reflects the lifestyle of Hungary's aristocracy. Inside, visitors can explore the Helicon Library, one of the country's most beautiful, and the richly decorated ballroom that once hosted glittering gatherings. The surrounding gardens and fountains enhance the sense of timeless elegance, creating a peaceful setting perfect for leisurely stroll. Beyond the castle, Keszthely's lakeside promenade invites quiet walks, refreshing swims in the summer, peaceful boat rides, and sunsets that seem to last forever. Together, Balatonfüred, Tihany, and Keszthely reveal the rich elegance, spirituality, and grandeur of Lake Balaton. Whether you come to swim, sail, wander, or simply to breathe in the lake's fresh air, Balaton proves that Hungary's beauty isn't just found in its big cities. It's reflected in the calm waters, gentle hills, and lakeside towns that have inspired generations. And while you are exploring the region, don't miss out on visiting the most loyal Hungarian city, Sopron. Located near the Austrian border, this charming town is called the most loyal city because its citizens chose to remain part of Hungary after World War I, even when they could have joined Austria. Sopron is a city where history and culture blend beautifully. Its old town is a living museum. Narrow cobblestone lanes wind between beautiful Baroque, Gothic, and Renaissance buildings, many of which have stood for hundreds of years. Despite its small size, the town feels grand. Walking through Sopron feels like walking through the pages of a history book, but one that is still being written today. The main square is the vibrant heart of Sopron, and one of the most beautiful historic squares in Hungary. Surrounded by elegant Baroque palaces and centuries-old merchant houses, it perfectly captures the city's timeless charm. At the center stands the Holy Trinity statue, a magnificent Baroque monument built in the early 18th century. Its graceful figures and sculpted angels rise toward the sky, creating a stunning focal point framed by pastel-colored architecture. Sopron's skyline is beautifully marked by church towers that tell the story of its deep spiritual and cultural heritage. Among them, the Blessed Mary Benedictine Church stands as one of the city's most treasured landmarks. Built in the 13th century, this Gothic masterpiece once hosted royal coronations and major historical events, making it not only a place of worship, but also a witness to Hungary's history. Nearby, the Church of St. George is another Benedictine treasure and one of Sopron's oldest churches. Its graceful Gothic arches and centuries-old frescoes give a glimpse into the city's medieval past. The Church of the Immaculate Conception, with its elegant Baroque design, adds a touch of light and ornamentation to the old town, while the St. Judas Church offers a peaceful space for reflection. Completing the spiritual journey is the Church of the Holy Spirit, an architectural gem known for its beautifully detailed interior. Each of these churches has its own story and atmosphere. Together, they create a picture of Sopron as a city where faith, history, and art have been intertwined for centuries. One of the most recognizable landmarks rising above the city The Fire Watchtower, or Tűztorony, is Sopron's proudest symbol. Originally part of the city's Roman walls, it has been rebuilt and expanded throughout the centuries. For generations, guards used the tower to spot fires and approaching enemies. Today, visitors climb its winding stairs for the best view in town, a panorama of red rooftops, green hills, and even the distant Austrian Alps. Standing at the top, it is easy to see why Sopron has always been a bridge between cultures and a guardian of Hungarian identity.
So we are on the oldest street of Sopron's old town, and it's ironically called New Street.
Hidden among the narrow streets of Sopron's old town stands one of Hungary's most remarkable medieval synagogues. The old synagogue, dating back to the 14th century, is a rare and beautifully preserved reminder of the once thriving Jewish community that lived here. Built in Gothic style, it features elegant stone arches and a peaceful inner courtyard that create a quiet, reflective atmosphere. The synagogue served as both a place of worship and community life until the mid-16th century. After centuries of different uses, it was carefully restored and today functions as a small museum showcasing the history of Jewish life in Sopron. Visitors can step inside the main prayer hall, see the women's gallery, and learn about the people who once gathered here. Sopron may be small, but it offers an experience full of character, where history, beauty and tradition meet in one unforgettable destination.
So, after exploring Hungary beyond the capital city, one thing is clear: this country is far richer and more diverse than most travelers realize.
From the royal palace of Gödöllő to the cobbled streets of Szentendre,
The medieval strongholds of Visegrád and Esztergom.
to the lakeside beauty of Balatonfüred, Tihany and Keszthely.
Each stop reveals a new layer of history and culture. Towns like Győr, Tata and Veszprém showcase Hungary's architectural treasures.
While Sopron connects us to its deep Central European roots.
Together, these journeys prove that Hungary is far more than just Budapest. Step outside the capital city and you will find vineyards, castles, lakes and cities steeped in stories waiting to be discovered.
Whether it's a day trip or a longer adventure, the reward for venturing out is a deeper, more authentic experience of this beautiful country.
Thank you for joining us on this beautiful journey through Hungary. We hope you enjoyed it and it inspired you to discover Hungary for yourself. If you made it this far and like what we do, we would appreciate if you give us a like, subscribe down below, and join us next time to do it all over again.